Hello, everyone. Jason Gordon, certified divorce lending professional. I'm here with my guest and friend, Amanda Singer. I am very happy to have Amanda here. Amanda, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me today.
You're very welcome. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule. So I wanted to properly introduce you to the viewers here. Amanda is a professional family mediator and co-owner of West Coast Family Mediation. I always want to say mediation center, working with couples and families all throughout California who are going through divorce to help them stay out of court while keeping their costs down and ideally not hate each other at the end of the process. I'm sure there's mixed results sometimes in this work, but I know the intentions are sincere. And Amanda is also a licensed attorney and certified divorce financial analyst, as we refer to that, CDFA. And Amanda was the awardee of the 2022 APFM Outstanding Professional Family Mediator Award from the Academy of Professional Family Mediators. So that's some pretty high praise there. So again, Amanda, I appreciate you being here. I'm just going to jump in, just ask you, a couple of just random questions here. There's so many different branches of law that you can choose from when you go through law school. What prompted you to go into family law?
Yeah, so for me, I would say that it even started before I went to law school. When I chose to go back to school, because I took some time off after undergrad, I was focused on alternative dispute resolution. So I knew that I was interested in doing mediation, and I thought that family law is an area where mediation can be really beneficial because people are having to maintain relationships afterwards. Now, if you don't have kids together, maybe not, but for the majority of couples, whether their kids are young or whether they're grown, they do have kids together. They're always going to be co-parenting together. And so for me, the combination of being able to do mediation, which for me, part of the reason I got first interested in mediation is the idea that, my mom was a therapist growing up. And so I understood like the emotional side and kind of that side of it. And I thought about becoming a therapist as well. And when I found mediation when I was in undergrad, I found that it really combined a lot of the still emotional side of things. I'm not a therapist, but it combined the emotional side of things along with the legal side that I was so interested in. And so when I went to law school, I really focused and knew where I wanted to get in terms of doing mediation and in terms of doing family law.
It's a great answer. It's a great answer. And it's obviously a noble endeavor indeed. Now, we all heard the expression before, hindsight is 2020. So if there's any advice you'd kind of give someone who's just beginning this journey, what would you offer up?
For someone who's beginning in the divorce journey,
Correct.
I think that, the first thing is, kind of being able to get as much information as you can. And the reason that I say that is because, a lot of times if you, find yourself going through a divorce, whether you're the one initiating it or whether your spouse did, a lot of times the kind of rhetoric people hear is, well, I have to just go hire myself an attorney, right? I've got to hire an attorney. They're going to hire an attorney, and we're going to have to fight it out. And I think that if you gather information and understand all of your options, mediation being one of those, but there are many options, that you're in a better position because you've thought through how you want to handle the divorce and you've gotten the information and options to understand, what's going to be the best way possible for you. And knowing that there isn't just one path to do that, no matter what your situation looks like.
Yeah, and I know that's a tough time for folks, and they react to it differently. And what's nice, at least to offer up to all of them, is they're not doing this alone. And so there are sort of people that can be on their team. Do you have any kind of advice on like what to look for them, on who they might want to select to be on their team, and what kind of professionals those may be?
Yeah, certainly. So, certainly working as a family mediator, I think that, having a mediator on your team, working with a mediator is really important. So I'm going to kind of start there as, you can, have a mediator. And I think the way to kind of look at your mediator is they can be kind of the person who organizes and manages kind of the whole process for you. Beyond that, the way that we work and what I think is really important is every case is going to be different, right? So everybody may need or want different professionals. So, I always recommend that my clients have a consulting attorney. That doesn't mean that they have to have somebody represent them, and it doesn't mean that they're going to go to court, but it means that they have somebody in their corner that they can ask and get legal advice from. As a mediator, we work as a neutral third party. And so that means that, if you're working with a mediator, they're not going to represent you or your spouse. They're going to work with both of you. And so having a consulting attorney can provide that legal advice that you may need. Additionally, like you mentioned at the beginning, I am a CDFA, but it can sometimes be helpful to work with a CDFA either on an individual basis, right? Sometimes I find that one or both of the spouses just don't feel as comfortable with the finances. Maybe they didn't manage it maybe they're unsure where to get started in terms of understanding their future budgets, things like that. And so working with a CDFA can be very helpful to help them understand and work through the process. And then another professionals that I would say are really important are divorce coaches. I think that oftentimes people don't know about therapists, right? They know that, and oftentimes are either in therapy before and or during the divorce. But a divorce coach can be really helpful throughout the process to really help manage just the divorce itself. So it's more about like what's going on during, helping through the process. And no matter whether you're mediating or you're litigating, they can be a great professional to help you during that process. And then, of course, there can be other peripheral things. If there's businesses owned, there's going to be a need for a business valuator. If they own a home and have a mortgage already or are going to, certainly a professional like yourself, as well as if they, are looking for real estate needs, there are really great certified, I might mess this up, certified divorce real estate experts. Did I get that one right?
You got that right. Yes.
Oh, look at that. Okay. So I think that where we really come from is a point of, you're going to need at least certain professionals. And then what does your situation look like? And who are you going to need to help you through that process?
So well said. Yeah. A lot of my training on the certified divorce lending professional, or CDLP, it's really designed to show just how many sort of puzzle pieces there are, for lack of a better term, that these divorcing folks go through, especially if they own property. And, to try to solve each of those pieces by yourself without being an expert on all those pieces, it could be overwhelming, not to mention the emotional aspect of all this. And of course, when you can have professionals that are focused on staying in their lane or in their puzzle piece and collaborating with each other, it definitely tends to bode well. So yeah, I always like to ask this question. And of course, I understand confidentiality. We're not going to breach any of that, mention any names, but is there any like one memorable case that just stands out as something that kind of in your career that you go, wow, that was a pretty significant moment that I helped out?
Yeah, I mean, I think, some of that comes to mind for me is clients who, and this, may have been even in more than one situation, but I certainly can think of, one specific where clients had, had already started in litigation, and they had filed and they had attorneys, and they realized like, this is not the process for us, right? This is costing us a lot of money. This is taking too long. We're fighting. Like, we didn't want to fight, right? We maybe have an idea already of how we want things to look. And this isn't what that is. And so, from that, they came, to mediation instead. And they kept their attorneys in the consulting capacity, because those were attorneys that were able to do that, but that we were able to finish everything in mediation. And I think that, for me, it's the relief that they see, knowing that, well, we didn't have to go through this whole, crazy litigation, and we didn't have to fight with each other, through it all, and seeing what that difference looks like. And I think that it can be tough to get back to mediation when you're already in litigation, but not impossible. And knowing that, just because you started in one path doesn't mean that you can't still finish in a different.
It makes so much sense, and it's so telling. It's such a human side to all this. It's a
Mhm.
tough transition. The right people around you can make it the best possible transition, ideally. Well, it goes without saying, Amanda, I really appreciate you taking time today, and I always appreciate our ongoing collaborations with both yourself, your colleagues, and of course the mutual clients that we work on together. It's an honor to help, and I respect you as a person and a professional. And I just, in closing, where can someone maybe who's watching this video go to to learn more about you?
Yeah, so best place would be our website, so westcoastfamilymediation.com. So pretty easy with our name. And I think the best thing about our website is, one, you can learn about both myself as well as the other mediators in our office. You can learn about our services, and we are really active in terms of writing blogs, recording videos, because part of it is we just want to provide as much information, just like I talked about at the beginning, as possible to people. So even if you find that mediation isn't going to end up working for you, we have so much information on our website that it can be a great place to start out.
Sounds perfect. Any final thought you want to share with folks before we close?
I think it's just that understanding, when you're going through a divorce, it's a really difficult time. And, the professionals that you have on a team, those that you work with, whether you started out with a CDLP like yourself, and then, because you were already thinking about that, and then, going from there, or if you start with a mediator or an attorney, just really be knowing that you can lean on those professionals and have a strong team, and that you don't have to do it on your own.
What goes without saying, I'm 100% in agreement. I was trying not to nod my head too much while you're talking, but I mean, we're spot on. And, I just want people to know who's watching this video, you're not on your own, and it's a tough, we're human. It's a tough situation, and find the right people, assemble the right team, and, hopefully we can get you through this. Well, Amanda, I know you're a busy person. Thank you for taking the time out today, and we'll let you go, but thanks again, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.